Eto na, Teamfight Tactics Mobile is finally out on APAC and Philippine server. Ready ka na ba? As one of the top players in our server, I'm here to teach you how to play Teamfight Tactics Mobile. We're gonna save the more advanced mechanics and tutorial for another video, but in this video, I'm gonna teach you basics that every Teamfight Tactics player has to know. Here are my top 5 beginner lessons that you need to know before you jump into a game of Teamfight Tactics. There guys, suot ko muna yung salamin ko. Nahirapan na ako. Napapakit lang ako sa video eh. Hirap talaga malabo mata. My God. Okay, let's jump on to lesson number 1. It's a very easy concept to understand. The game offers you units every shop. One unit would be a 1-star unit. If you have 3 copies of the same unit, it would upgrade to 2-star, which is a stronger version of the same unit. If you want to upgrade to 3-star, you need 9 of the same unit. O, diba? Ang dali mag-TFT. Mahit mo lang yung units, okay ka na. At the beginning of the game, there will be 3 available portals for you to select from, each of which would impact the game differently. Pero good news, unlike last set, they're gonna be less intrusive, lower impact, mabilis maintindihan. For example, there's gonna be portals such as 3 starting 1-cost units, wherein you get offered 3 1-cost units to begin with instead of 1. Diba? Almost makes no difference. It could also be offered that the first or last augment is prismatic. This one makes an impact for sure. There's also another one I like, which is the artifact anvil. It gives you a free Orn item at the beginning of the game. You just pop open the anvil and choose whatever you want. In my opinion, it's easier to play the game when there's not a lot of nuisance coming around, because like if you played previous sets, you know what I'm talking about. This is where the fun part starts. Yung augments at TFT, this makes a big impact in the game. Unlike previous sets, wala na yung mga hero augments. There's also none of +1 synergy augments, but there's still a wide variety to choose from for sure. Pero before ka mag-select ng augment, you have a few seconds. I'm pretty sure it's less than a minute. You have to think hard on which one would benefit you and help you guarantee that top 4. The only basics you need to know about augments is they can be offered as silver, gold, or prismatic. There are also odds in succession as to what can come after a certain augment, but that's a little bit too advanced. We'll talk about that in a different video. All you need to know is silver is the lowest tier augment, gold will be the mid-tier augment, and prismatic augments will be at the highest tier. Ngayon, Master Els, paano ko malalaman anong augments ang pipiliin ko? I mean, there's a lot of different kinds to choose from. So econ augments are basically augments that help you grow your economy, helps you gain more gold, and eventually give you enough resources later on to roll your shops and purchase units that you will need. Basically, if I were to name a few econ augments I like, it would be Rich Get Richer or AFK. Combat augments are basically augments that help your units get stronger during fights. There's a lot of good ones for sure, like tons of stats, gifts of the fallen, and many more. Item augments are very simple to understand, basically anything that gives you items to work with. Item anvils, component anvils, artifact anvils, just to name a few. And then lastly, utility augments, which is basically just, I don't know what utility augments are. It's just what I call them. Like, they're the augments that are like in the middle of everything, right? So for example, there's an augment called You Have My Bow. Yeah, you can say it's an item augment because it does give you a bow, but also it has utility because it gives you increased attack speed. So I don't know, man, like I just call them utility augments. That's it. Overall, it still depends on your playstyle, of course. For example, if you open with a strong board, then you definitely have to go for combat or item augments. Makakatulong siya na manalo ka early on because HP is going to be very important late game. And then for example, yung opener mo, let's say you get a really weak board. None of them were 2-starred. Walang na-upgrade. Tapos may in-offer sa'yo na econ augment, then you might want to consider getting that. So you can save up gold and come back during late game stages. That's all you need to know about augments, alright? Basics lang tayo, basics. Next video na yung advance para hindi kayo mahilo. What we're going to talk about now is a new mechanic added just recently to set 10. Dati merong set I think it was set 6, we had a chosen mechanic. It's very similar to the headliner mechanic right now, but just to make it simple, it's like this. When you're offered a shop, there's a chance that there's a headliner showing up. A headliner is basically a unit that's automatically a 2-star when you buy them. So syempre, ang gagastusin mong gold, 2-star value. Instantly upgraded siya with bonus stats. Every headliner has a different bonus, so you might have to read. Imagine TFT players reading, I don't read. Huh? But something you gotta remember is, when you purchase a headliner such as this guy, it's not gonna show up again in your shop until you roll 4 more times. Whether it be naturally, because like every round na lumipas counted as 1 shop refresh. So if you refresh your shop manually or naturally, every 4 times, lalabas yung bagong headliner na i-offer sa'yo. Random siya. But this is only true if you're holding a headliner on your board or on your bench. You're never allowed to have 2 headliners at once. Not gonna happen. You only buy buy one at a time. But if you don't have a headliner on your board or bench, you'll be able to find a new headliner every shop refresh at any stage of the game. Basta wala kang hawak na headliner, bawat roll mo may lalabas na bago. As a bonus, I'm gonna enumerate some of the best headliners I find to be really strong in the current patch. One cost would be Chosen Evelyn with KDA, a Chosen Lilia with Superfan. Two costs would be a Chosen Senna with True Damage, a Chosen Katarina. Also, why am I saying Chosen? I meant Headliner. For 3 costs, Headliner Lulu is pretty good. For 4 costs, there's a lot to choose from for sure, but I really like Headliner Twisted Fate, Headliner Karthus, and Headliner Akali. I would advise to focus on linear gameplay where you try to play vertical synergies. When you say vertical synergies, it means going from, for example, 3 KDA, and then at level 5 you move up to 5 KDA, at level 7 you move up to 7 KDA. Vertical comps are easy to follow because you're just following one synergy. Try to avoid playing flexibly at the beginning of the game when you're just starting to learn how everything works. So yung headliner mo pabago-bago yan. Stage 2, pwedeng ito yung headliner mo. Stage 3, pwedeng ito. Stage 4, pwedeng yan. This is a fundamental part of the game called pivoting. That's the term we use in the TFT community. Kailangan mo matuto mag-pivot around different comps and different headliners to maximize your wins every stage and get that juicy top 4. So remember, you have to think fast. Kung magpapalit ka ng headliner, dapat alam mo yung hahanapin mo and depende sa level. Speaking of levels, eto na, very important. It's a basic concept to understand. You level if you want to fit in more units. For example, level 3 ka, tatlo lang yung units. Level 4 ka, apat yung units. Level 5 ka, you have 5 units. Every time you purchase a level, you spend 4 gold and you gain 4 XP. At least in general. Meron din mga augments that can modify that. Like, for example, the prismatic augment called Level Up. This would give you more XP for the price of 1. And then rolling is basically paying 2 gold to find a different shop. Of course, with exceptions as well. Over here, as you can see, an augment like this would allow you to roll your shop for free depending on odds. How do you buy XP to level up, and how do you roll shops? You can press this button over here to buy EXP. If you purchase enough, you'll make it to the next level. If you need to roll your shops, you can spend gold by clicking this button right here, and your shops will change automatically. Also, in case you didn't know, you could press this button right here if you want to preview your synergies, and right next to it is a button you click, which will show you the components and items that you have in bench. Leveling and rolling coincides in a lot of ways. Depending on your level, mag-iiba din yung odds ng shop. Alright, there's something we call the shop odds right here. Let me show you a chart on screen right now. Depending on your level, iba-iba yung odds ng shop. For example, pag level 6 ka, 30% chance na makakita ka ng 1 cost unit, 40% chance na makakita ng 2 cost unit, 25% for 3 costs, 5% for 4 costs, and 0% for 5 costs. Yes, that's right. Looking at this chart, you're never gonna get a 5 cost unit / legendary champion until you're level 7 or higher. Kaya wag ka basta-basta roll lang. Kung ano yung hinahanap mong unit, dapat alamin mo anong level ka dapat nagro-roll. Meron din tayong headliner odds. So, yung headliner na hinahanap mo, iba rin ang percentage niya na lumabas sa shop depende sa levels. Here's another chart for you to look at. Feel free to pause the screen if you want to take a look at this longer. So with this, there's a lot of varying strategies that you can pull off depending on what comp you're trying to play around. Oo nga pala, at the start of this game, chumamba ako. Usually when you're re-rolling for a 1 cost, dapat you look for the units either at level 4 or level 5. Yun kasi yung pinamalaking chances niya. Pero it was so funny, let me show you the clip right here. I found Annie 3 at the beginning of the game. Aha, so may na-pick up kayo dun, di ba? So minsan, yung headliner mechanic, that's what's gonna bring you closer to a 3-star unit. Imagine mo may 6 ka na nahanap of the same unit, and then boom, headliner, instant 2-star, and now you have 9 pieces of the same unit. So guys, what did we learn from this video? That's right, kailangan mo matuto mag-math. Kung magti-TFT ka, mag-aral ka mag-math dahil magbibilang tayo.
Meanwhile,
Okay, Master Els, 2 plus 2? Guys, pag na-master nyo yung mga basics na to, gagaling din kayo, you can climb the ladder. And then eventually, you could maybe play for a 3-star legendary. It's always fun when you make it to level 9. And that's it, guys. This is 5 basic concepts you need to know about Teamfight Tactics Mobile before you jump into a game. Sana may natutunan kayo, and if you want to learn more advanced techniques, I will be happy to make another video for that. Ayoko lang muna kasi kayo masyadong ma-overfeed ng info dahil malalim kasi talaga yung mechanics ng game. There's scouting, there's unit bag size. Like for example, bawat unit may limited number of units sa pool. For example, ang 3-star na 5 cost, isa lang ang pwedeng magkaroon niyan dahil 9 lang ang meron sa pool. Yung mga ganyang mechanics, tactics. There's a lot more advanced things I can teach you, so we're gonna save it for another one. So in the meantime, practice muna kayo, maghanda kayo, pwede kayo sumali sa tournament ko. You can follow me for updates here on Facebook. That's right. You can join us on Discord, and the link will be down below in the descriptions. Yan yung community server natin for the official Philippines, and maybe one day you can join us for tournaments. Malay mo, mag-qualify ka for C Regionals. Gusto mo lumaban sa Worlds? Parang si Faker. Meron din tayong ganun sa TFT. Server link for Grandmaster Cup down below. Oh, and don't forget to hit like, subscribe, leave a comment for the algorithm. Thanks.